This next session is so fun, and it's gonna be amazing. And look, we stretch the budget a little bit, okay? Every now and then, Lance, I gotta do some things outside the box, sir, that you don't know about. This was one of those times, right? This is one of those times I extended the belt, you know what I mean? I just kind of, you just opened up and said, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, by God, Scott. I'm not asking anybody. I'm telling people. And they're gonna be thankful that I did it. And so we just got off of the private planes, because there were two of them that flew in, California, New York. And first of all, we thought they were booked. We really did. We did not know we were able to, have them at this event. But luckily, as fate would have it, this little window of opportunity availed us to be able to have these two hosts. Now, many of you have seen presentations. How many have had a day in the field training? Raise your hand. If you've had a day in the field training, good deal. I don't know what you saw, I don't know what you didn't see, but what you're gonna see today is a live presentation with two hosts that can pause, rewind, and fast forward in real time exactly what happens. If I ever leaned into a session, if I wanted to make more money, if I wanted to be better at my craft, it would be this session. And there's nobody else. There is no one else to host this session than Sell Even More. Have you guys heard about Sell Even More? Sell Even More? Are you kidding me? One of the greatest closers, one of the greatest agents, one of the greatest individuals to march into. Matter of fact, if your life depended on it and you had to put somebody into a home, Jordan, into a trailer and say, look, come out with an app, Sell is the guy you send. But when he is tag team partnered with Craven, more apps? Are you kidding me? Craven freaking more apps? Do you know how hard it is to leverage an opportunity to be able to have an audience with Craven more apps? Lord have mercy, ladies and gentlemen. Would you put your hands together for Sell and Craven as they come to the stage?
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Final Expense Game Day. How are we feeling?
And they say yeah.
You know, Craig and Chad, they've acquired a large sum of money and they decided, you know what? Final Expense wasn't enough. We need to get in the TV game. And so they constructed North American Senior Benefits Broadcast Corporation, and they just said, you know what? We're gonna start with this. And so you see the cameras around. I know you've seen them all day, but today is our pilot filming. So I'm gonna need your help here. Are you willing to help me? Because this is our pilot episode. If this doesn't get picked up, Craven, you're back to the trailer parks. Geez Louise. But gosh, guys, what we're gonna do today, I know you've watched Monday Night Football. Got some football fans in the house? I know you watch Sports Center. It probably keeps you from getting in the field on time. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna be able to pause, fast forward, rewind, replay a premier presentation. Craven, I am excited. Are you excited?
Very excited, but that's all the time we have, folks, because Sell wouldn't shut the hell up.
Well,
Hey, you look fantastic. Great recovery after the gastric bypass, and man, you lost all the weight. And is that you? Is that you that smells that bad? That is so offensive. It's kind of like that old Mutual of Omaha Indian logo.
look, I don't want to get us canceled before we start, Craven. I apologize to Mutual of Omaha. We're gonna try not to lose every sponsor we walked in here with. We're gonna need advertisers. But by golly, guys, if I can just break character for a second, we've had a great weekend. We've had a lot of motivation. We've had a lot of information. I know if you've been listening, we've touched your heart. Somebody's had to touch your heart. I want to touch your mind in the next 40 minutes and really teach you something. If you haven't taken a single note, this is the presentation to listen to. And by gosh, did we bring a good presenter. So let's bring her out. Back in character, Craven. Let's bring out the one, the only, the insurance muse, Miss Laura Sisco. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. 'Cause all I do is win, and if you go in
Uh-oh, Sell, right away, I think we got a problem. Sending in a woman to do a man's job, never a good idea.
I apologize. We just launched our second sponsor, Royal Neighbors. We will have a written apology in the mail to you by tomorrow morning. Guys, we searched high and low. We went to the trailer parks of West Virginia. We went to the projects of the south side of Chicago looking for the most quintessential final expense client there ever was. And Craven, do I think that we found him? Let's bring him out. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Wilbur. Oh, over here, Wilbur. Over here.
Sel, I don't know about you, but I think we can close the book on this one. It looks like we're going guarantee issue for sure.
Let's not jump to conclusions. Guys, we're going to jump right into it. We've gotten through the door. We know what step one is, right? What's step one? Give it to me. Connect. Let's see how she does it. Action.
Wilbur, what a beautiful house you have here.
Oh, well, thank you.
How long have you lived here?
About 30 years now.
30 years. Okay. Is there a Mrs. Wilbur
Yeah, Tina's out in the garden.
in the garden? Okay. Well, I do see you've got some beautiful babies on the wall. Are those your grandbabies?
Yeah, those are my grandbabies. Got the 2 boys and a little baby girl.
Okay. Now, who's your favorite?
The little baby girl, but don't tell nobody.
Hey, it's okay. I was my grandmother's favorite too. I won't tell anybody. Now, are you still working? Are you retired?
Oh, Lord, no, I'm retired.
Okay. Who did you work with?
I worked for Verizon for about 20 years.
20 years. Okay. What did you do there?
I was a phone jockey.
A phone jockey.
Yeah, I just answered the phones all day.
Well, what about for fun? Anything that you do now that you're retired?
I like to go fishing.
Fishing? Okay. Any catching that you do or just a little bit of fishing?
No, that's why it's called fishing, not catching.
So you're like my granddad. He never brought anything back. Well, Wilbur, I could sit here and I could talk with you all day, but I know that you've got some fishing to do, not so much catching, and I've got some appointments I have to get to. So let me go ahead and get started.
Guys, let's cut there. Did you hear that? It's classic. We teach it to you when you start, right? What is it? FORT. You guys know what it stands for? Family, occupation, recreation, transition. Man, she's forting all over this house. But it's not just enough to fort, right? You have to have a little intrigue, right? Are you guys excited about the answers you get from your clients? Yes? That's not a lot of yeses. And it might be why you stink at connecting. Because you don't care. The client they do not care what you know unless they know what you care. And if you don't care about what they're saying, when you're asking them about their life and their family and their job and their past, they're not gonna care about life insurance from you. That's for dang sure. That was classic fort there, Craven.
I'm learning a lot, but frankly, Sel, I'm not sure what farting has to do with connecting. I taking notes. I didn't make the connection there.
It's fort. It's F-O-R-T, Craven. Anyway.
More sense.
Okay, we're gonna get right into step 2, credibility. Let's see how she does it. Action.
Wilbur, like I said, I could sit here and I could chat with you all day, but I know that you've got things to do and I've got some appointments to get to. So let me go ahead and get started. This right here is my state license. All right, I worked really hard for that. There's my state seal, my line of authority in life right there. I've been fingerprinted, background checked, you name it. And so if someone comes to your door and they don't show you this, you know what you do?
What's that?
You give them the boot.
Oh, I got plenty of boot to go around.
Good. And right here, this is going to be our A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We worked really hard on that, and all that means is that we take really good care of our seniors, okay? And right here, these are my babies. Just like you have your babies, I have my babies. So there's Georgia, that's my oldest. She's mama number 2. Then there's Scarlett. She's the middle child, and let me tell you, she's all sass. And then here's Johnny. She's the baby. We're not having any more, so she got named after her dad. Whether she loves it or hates it, I don't know yet.
Well, you got a good-looking crew.
Well, thank you. But like I said, Wilbur, my job is really simple. It's just to help you in a couple areas where it pertains to Social Security and final expenses, Medicare savings programs, and state-regulated benefits, okay?
Let's cut right there. Guys, that was the big 3 to a T, right? What is it? Better Business Bureau, licenses, pictures of your family, right? But it's not enough to just go through the motions. So much of us think, oh man, this is just another step to get me to where I want to go. This isn't making me any money. And that is a complete fallacy. If you're not making this a big deal and selling yourself, right? You got to get them to like you, but you also have to sell yourself first. So that way they'll take your advice. And that's how she did it. It was really building up what it is to be the professional that's in their house. Craven.
So I don't know if you know this, but I also am a big deal. People know me, and I took a note. I didn't see a husband in that picture, just saying.
Well, I don't know if you're lucky enough to fill that out, but anyway, let's hear how we've sold ourselves. Can we qualify the client? Action.
All right, so Wilbur, let's see here. Now, are you currently receiving your Medicare or Medicaid or both?
I got the red, white, and blue card, the
Okay.
Medicare.
You got your Medicare? What about a supplement plan?
I got United Health.
United Health? Okay. And they're treating you good?
So far, so good.
All right, good. And are you currently getting paid on the first of the month, the third of the month, or one of those Wednesdays for your Social Security?
Oh, it's the second Wednesday of
The
each
second
month.
Wednesday? Okay. And now, are they paying you on that little green card, or is it direct deposit to your bank account?
No, it's right into my First Citizens account.
For Citizens. Are they treating you good too?
Yeah, pretty good.
All righty. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and go grab your prescriptions. I want to start there to make sure you're not falling into any gaps or donut holes or overpaying for any of your meds.
Cut.
So I gotta step in. Laura's actually winning me over here. The way she's keeping Wilbur on her toes, it kind of reminds me of Andrew Everhart at a urinal.
All right. All right. Well, look, what she's really doing here, Craven, what she's actually doing is she's qualifying, right? We have to qualify 3 things with the client. If you're not taking notes, this is the time to start. Qualify 3 things with the client. You have to qualify their health, you have to qualify their banking, and you have to qualify that they make their own decisions. You could be the best closer in the country, but if you don't have a client with all 3 of those things, what are they? Bank account, health, decision maker, you're not going to be able to close. They're just not a sellable person. And we want to find that out in the first 10 to 15 minutes of any house that we walk into. Because the rest of that time spent with somebody without all 3 of those things is a gigantic waste of time. Much like Craven's commentary. But anyway, let's see if she can travel through and hit on living benefits. Action.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and go grab those prescriptions. I want to make sure you're not falling into any gaps or donut holes and you're not overpaying for any of your meds.
Here you go.
All right. Okay, it looks here we've got metformin. So you're diabetic?
Yeah, I got a touch of the sugar.
Touch of the sugar. Okay. When were you diagnosed?
About a year ago.
Okay, so after the age of 50?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How about any tingling in your hands or in your feet?
Lord, not yet.
Okay. What about insulin use? No insulin use?
Nope, don't like needles.
All right. What about any heart attacks, stroke, cancer, COPD?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. And you're a smoker or non-smoker?
Non-smoker.
Non-smoker. All right. And I do see you've got the HCTZ, you've got the lisinopril, but you look pretty healthy. Look like you're doing pretty good. Any of these medications costing you more than you think they should? Maybe over $25?
I do have a little blue pill that is costing me a little bit, if you could help me out with that.
Okay. All right. And you said it's costing you more than $25?
Yeah, it's about $35, $40 a month.
Okay. Well, I'll
It's
tell you
worth
what,
it.
we do have a discount program for prescriptions. It's the Good RX. They'll actually help you save up to 80% on your medications. Where are you currently getting your blue pill?
It's at CVS down the street.
CVS?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking it up here. If you go ahead and take it over to Walmart, you're actually going to be able to get that for $4.
Well, hot dog.
That's a pretty good savings.
That is,
right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So they'll send that to you in the mail. When you get it, you can go on right down to Walmart. All right.
All righty.
All right. So I'm going to check you off when it comes to prescriptions. Now let's take a look here at your dental. So Medicare doesn't really cover much for dental. All right. Are you having any trouble with your dental?
Well, to be honest, I haven't been to the dentist in a hot minute, but I probably need to go get some work done.
Okay. Well, we do have another program. It's the Dentamax program. It'll help you save up to 40% on your dental work. And are you familiar with Aspen Dental?
Yeah, I think they built one right down the street.
Okay. So they're a provider of Dentamax. You can go there, get your first visit for free. They'll tell you everything that needs to get done, what your savings are, and you'll be good to go. Pretty good, right?
That's right.
Start
yeah.
getting those savings in. I actually saved $400 on my root canal
You're
by using the
kidding.
Dentamax program.
Shut the
yeah.
front door.
Yep. So I will check that off for you. You can start getting those savings. All right, so the last thing that we do, Wilbur, and the most important thing is what we specialize in, and what you specifically requested the help and information on is when it pertains to Social Security and final expenses and the life coverage. The state, they only pay that $255 when you pass away. Good luck getting your toe buried with that, right? Or getting flowers.
Right?
So my job is just really simple. It's just to educate you on the different plans and programs that are out there and making sure that you're getting everything that you're entitled to.
Cut! Oh, give a round of applause. Come on. Come on. My gosh. Now, before I get to the transition line, Craven, let me just cover a few things here. She had so much in this. Guys, do you sound this good? Because if you sound this good, you'll make a lot of dang money. Just like Miss Laura here. But what is she doing? She's covering our living benefit card, but what she's really trying to find is real-time value. It's not enough to just plop the little flyer on that, hey, this will help you. You got to find something that's tangible, right? A prescription savings, an eye story, right? Hey, I saved $400 on a root canal. This is going to save you $400 on a root canal. I just saved you $30, $40, $50 on a prescription each month. So when Mr. Wilbur says, I can't afford it, and we just saved him 30 bucks, that's really hard for him to say, I can't afford it coming forward, right? It's just, and then the transition in. She's just, you guys maybe didn't even notice that she just switched from living benefits to life benefits just like that. And you have to have these iron bridge transitions. Most people know where they need to go in a presentation. Hold on, I need to start talking about life insurance here pretty soon. They just don't know how to get there. What's the verbiage that I can get to my conversation about life insurance? What's in those tiny iron bridge lines of transitions that will allow you to get there, Craven?
So she's on fire. I mean, she's killing it. I don't think we've seen a transition this smooth since Bruce Jenner. I'm not going to lie. Smooth.
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. My gosh, well, we've gotten into the conversation, right, about life insurance, but now it's time to do what we came to do, and that's talk about it. Action.
All right, so the last thing that we do is the most important thing. It's what we specialize in, and what you specifically requested that help and information on is when it pertains to Social Security and final expenses and life coverage. The state, they only pay that $255 when you pass away. Good luck getting your toe buried with that or getting flowers. And so our job is just to educate you on the different plans and programs that are out there and making sure that you're getting everything that you're entitled to. Okay.
All right.
So as a broker, we work with all the top providers in the state, in our opinion. We've got Americo, Mutual of Omaha, Liberty Bankers, AIG, Royal Neighbors. And then over here, these are going to be some of the other providers that you're going to see come through the mail or on TV. Great companies, my opinion, not the best for seniors. You've got Colonial Penn. Sometimes they'll do those waiting period policies. People are eligible for upgrades. ARP, Lincoln Heritage, Primerica. And like I said, our job is just to educate on the different plans and programs. And I'm blonde, so you have to follow me like a fifth grader, okay? I'm going to go over the different types of coverage. The first type here that we've got is the most known type. It's called term coverage. You've probably heard of that. It's got a stop sign. It's not designed to last your entire life. It's good for folks my age. I've got a house payment, a car payment, and if I were to pass away, my husband's up the creek in debt, okay? So never designed to last your entire life. The second type is whole life. It does exactly what the name says. It lasts your whole life. You've got a protection amount that's level, doesn't change. You have a premium that's fixed, doesn't change. And it builds value for you over time via cash value and paid up coverage, okay? Now the third type, this is the most controversial type. And it's the universal life policy, also known as the flexible premium adjustable life insurance. Now Wilbur, does anything about flexible and adjustable sound like it's gonna last forever?
Nope.
No, okay. Now these plans were really popular in the 80s and 90s when interest rates were really good, but it's got a stop sign like that term plan, but it builds cash value like a whole life, so sometimes we'll get it confused. So these were actually given out by employers. The way that it works is it builds cash value, you pay your premium, there's another fee on the back end called the cost of insurance. As you get older, they charge you more on the back end, they start to take from your cash value, and when there's no more cash value left, you know what happens?
What's that?
Your policy is done.
Oh,
Okay?
that's not good.
And we don't want that to happen. So Wilbur, what type do you feel like is the best type?
Probably that second one right there, that whole life.
The kind that pays out, right?
That's right.
That's right. And so when people like you fill out requesting the help and information, you're typically going to fall into one of these three categories. The first is going to be the oops. I call it the oops. And that's just the wrong type of coverage. You either had that term or that universal. The second type is going to be what I call the ouch. And that just means you've got the right type, but you're paying way too much. You're entitled to some discounts, and we want to find those for you. Now, the third type, this is the largest category. We call it the uh-oh. And all that means is that you either have some coverage in place or not enough to keep up with inflation. It's kind of devalued your plan. So, Mr. Wilbur, who did you say your coverage was with again?
I think it was Colonial Penn.
Colonial Penn, okay. And how much do you think you're paying for it?
It's like 143.
Okay. And how long do you think you've had it? How much coverage?
About 6 months, and I think it's 10,000 in coverage.
Okay. Well, tell you what, Wilbur, do me a favor. Go ahead and go grab that policy. I want to make sure that you're not falling in one of those categories and you're getting all the discounts that you're entitled to.
Cut.
So I'm going to be honest, I kind of blanked out when Laura was talking about being flexible. But here's a fun fact, though. Fun fact. So did you know that Alex Trebek does not, in fact, still work for Colonial Penn?
I do know that. God rest his soul. My gosh, he's a national treasure, Craven. Jeez Louise. Guys, did you hear? I mean, again, I don't want to belabor the point, but that is why we brought her on stage. This is where you make your money. Give her a round of applause. My gosh, she deserves it. Holy smokes. I think it's going to get picked up, Craven. I really do. I mean, it's flowing pretty good. But guys, the transition of life, we have to accomplish 3 things. 3 things you need to accomplish in a transition of life. You have to build doubt, you have to build urgency, and you have to educate your client. Those are the 3 things that are happening right here in this verbiage. Now, you've heard it real time, but that's why we're doing it. Doubt in what they have currently so we can review it. Urgency so that they'll move to action today. And education so they'll know enough information to make a decision and feel good about it. So if you're getting objections or they're not making a decision, it's because you're lacking one of those 3 things: doubt, urgency, and education. Another thing I loved about this transition to life insurance is she is like a great D-list celebrity. She's just name dropping all over the place. I mean, Primerica, Lincoln Heritage, AARP. This does serve a purpose. It serves the purpose because Wilbur is going to get a lot of advertisements and a lot of phone calls for the rest of his life about life insurance. And what he's going to remember is everything that Laura talked about. Oh, I know all about this. Let me just shred that up. And it's protecting her business in that moment. That's why we do it that way. My gosh, Craven, anything to add on this transition to life insurance?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. Well, look, we're going to fast forward here through the policy review. We know he's got a Colonial Penn, formerly of Alex Trebek. It's now the great and lovely Jonathan. We're going to fast forward through that, fast forward through the in and up call. She's gotten a recommendation from her awesome coach. Let's take it away into step 7. Action.
All right, Wilbur, so we did call Colonial Penn. They verified that you had that 2-year waiting period. Ugh, right?
Yeah.
And then we called Ashley, and she gave us a recommendation on an upgraded plan that we could take a look at for you through Mutual of Omaha, okay? So I want to go over here just a little bit about them. Mutual of Omaha, they've been around since 1909. Long time, right?
Yeah.
Back Wild Kingdom days. Well, they are also rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That just means that they take care of their people like we do. They also got an A+ rating with AM Best, who looks at all insurance companies and rates them on how well they pay out their claims. But the biggest thing is that you're getting that upgrade out of the 2-year waiting period into that day 1 coverage, right? And then you're getting some riders and some special features that were not on that Colonial Penn. That's going to be your accidental benefit rider. So whatever you qualify for, they're going to double that for you, okay? Pretty cool?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And then you're also going to have the accelerated benefit rider for terminal illness and nurse home confinement. All that means is that if you're terminally ill and you want to use those funds before you pass away, they'll give it to you. And if you needed to go to a nursing home and you wanted to use this plan, instead of them going to your bank account, you could. But the cool thing is if you don't use it, no harm, no foul, it's still a tax-free death benefit when you pass away to your family.
That's pretty
okay?
good.
Pretty cool, right?
Let's cut right there. Guys, this is so important. Summarizing value riders. Like Chromie said in the last segment, this is really your last chance to sell. Because once we move into showing numbers, now we're closing. And if you haven't really laid it out all on the table, now you're going to deal with objections. And to deal with objections, it's a lot easier to do it preemptively than after the fact. And that's why she's doing what she's doing. She's building so much value in these riders. If you're going to go through riders, you want to follow this recipe. What it is, how it works, why is it important? And you want to explain that thoroughly to the client. What is this rider? It's an accidental death benefit rider. Well, how does it work? If you pass away by accident, it's going to double your coverage. Why is that important? Well, because the third leading cause of death before you're the age of 67 is actually accidental death. It's going to double it, just like, and give your family a higher payout because they're losing your income in that time. That's why it's so important. Man, riders, Craven, what do you have?
So I think we all know it's all about building value. And when Craven Moore Apps is out there writing 2K a day, I'm pretty much the only value these guys need, right? I mean, Ryder, I don't even know her. What?
Oh, okay. I wasn't in the casting call, by the way, when we try to do this, but okay, we've summarized value. We're gonna move to the close. This is how we get the decision. I don't know, Craven, if he's gonna go for it. I mean, he's 50-50. He's a Dallas fan, so you never know what he's gonna do. Geez Louise. But let's see if she can get the application. Action.
So Wilbur, when you took out your Colonial Penn plan, what were you trying to accomplish with that coverage?
I was really just trying to make sure if something happened to me, my kids could bury me.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I do here want to show you that Social Security Administration paperwork that we get at the beginning of the year. It outlines inflation. And when I pull up your age bracket right here at 75, it's actually recommending around a $15,000 plan. So you're a little bit undercovered, but it's okay. I think there's some upgrades that we can find for you. And so right here, there's three. This is the first option for you, okay? So for what you were paying for 143, you're automatically getting that upgrade of that day one coverage. And then you're also, that's going to get you close to $13,000 of coverage, so an additional $3,000 of coverage for what you're paying. That's the first option. The second one gets you closer to what Social Security recommends. It's a $15,000. That's your premium right there. And then the third right here is the most that you can qualify for. It's the $40,000 with the $80,000 of accidental, and that would be your premium. Now, out of these three, which one do you feel like would be the best benefit for you and your son, Caden?
Well, I'm leaning towards that 15, but I really feel like I should talk to my kids first before I make any decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand. I'm like you. When I make big decisions, I want to talk to my husband. But let me ask you, when you took out the Colonial Penn plan, did you do that through the mail, or did your son help you do that?
No, I took it out through the mail by myself.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And so what if we could do this? If you were to pass away, would your son have the funds necessary?
No, he'd be in a pretty bad spot.
Right, because of that waiting period.
Yep.
Okay. So if we could lock you in on an approval, and they sent the paperwork out to you for you and Caden to review, would that be beneficial for you?
Yeah, that should be a good idea.
Okay, cool. So you said which one of these you wanted to go with?
Let's try with a 15.
15? Okay, excellent.
Cut. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't want it to get lost. There's so much. What we do is so simple, but there's so much intricacies. Am I saying that word correctly?
Probably
Great.
not.
Intricacy. I think that's the way. But I just want to break down the way that she's showing numbers, because she's showing multiple things. She's showing multiple price points per premium, right? The natural benefit, the accidental benefit, the living benefit into one price, but she's simultaneously framing the value to what he's actually going to need for his burial. So, hey, here's what's in comparison to what you have. Here's how I can better it for the same premium. Here's what I can get you that's actually in line with what you're going to need according to Social Security for a burial. And also, here's the max coverage you can get, right? She's laying it all out there in the same close sheet. That's going to raise the amount of premium that you're getting per close. That is super sharp. Did you notice she got an objection? Did you notice she didn't get flustered? Right? Great presenters, great salespeople, they've been there, right? And objections are usually a test to see if you've been there before. Can they trust you? If you haven't gotten their trust enough, they're going to give you an objection, and the way that you handle it is a lot more important, likely, than the words that you use to handle it. And so it's like a great airline pilot, right? when you hit turbulence, he doesn't get on the line and say, "We're going down!" No, he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing turbulence. Everything's gonna be fine. Please buckle your seatbelt." And that's exactly what she did there, right? Smooth, steady. When you get an objection, your response should not be a rebuttal. I think that's the worst thing that salespeople teach is rebuttals, right? Like there's a magic bullet to the objection that you're gonna get. There's not. Every client you sit down with is gonna give you an objection for a different reason, and they're smoke screens, right? 90% of objections are smoke screens, so you have to peel back, and the only way to get behind the objection is to ask questions. And that's exactly what she just did there. She didn't get flustered, she didn't give a rebuttal, she started asking questions. And the quality of the questions you ask in your presentation will correlate to your closing ratio. Did somebody hear that? The quality of the questions you ask during your presentation will correlate to your closing ratio. And those were some dang good questions that she asked. Craven, am I missing anything?
A lot. I mean, that's good. But guys, if I can narrow it down into one thing. So I figured out when you're in these homes, if you can write an application, the chances of making a sale drastically go up.
That is good math. I mean, it's good math there. I have to give it to you there.
Write it down.
So much happens. The one thing I want to say is what your client experiences before an approval and after approval are two totally different things. Has somebody experienced that before? Yeah. I don't want it. I don't know what I need. I don't know what I can afford. You're approved, and they're a totally different person. They're dancing, right? Let's see if we can get, Craven, you said GI. I don't know. Let's see if we can get him approved for the program. Action.
All right, Wilbur, so we need to go ahead and begin the paperwork. If you can, go ahead and go grab your license and either your checkbook or your bank statement from First Citizens Bank. That way I can go ahead and verify that you are who you say you are.
All right, here you go.
All right. Well, guess what, Wilbur? You've been approved. How do you feel?
Holy
Woo!
sugar nuts. Tina, go grab me one of them blue pills.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, me too.
How does it feel to have that upgrade?
It feels good.
You got that day one coverage? You feel good about that?
That's right, yeah.
Good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this here with you, just a little bit of paperwork until your policy comes out in the mail. I've got your brochure from Mutual of Omaha, the buyer's guide. I've got my card right here. And when you get your policy in the mail, I want you to call me, okay? That way I can come back out and review it with you and Kate and answer any questions that you have.
Okay.
But Wilbur, tell me, how do you feel about everything that we went over today?
I feel really good, really good.
Really good? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me in your own words what we were able to do for you today?
Well, we got me out of that 2-year waiting period with Colonial Penn. I got some more coverage, and I got all those riders.
There you go. Free coverage and more riders. You can't beat that, can you?
That's right.
All right. So the last thing before I leave, is there anybody here that you know that you could introduce me to that I could help the way I've been able to help you today?
Well, actually, my brother Dilber and I were just talking last week, and he needs some life insurance.
He does?
Yeah.
All right. Tell you what, if you can, do me a favor. Go ahead and give him a call. Let him know that I'm going to be in the area. Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And I can actually go see him here in the next day or two. Okay.
Let's cut right there. I don't want any of this to be missed. What's so important after you get that approval is the warm down. And that's what I don't want it to be missed because he was getting his blue pill and you guys were just as excited about he was for that to happen. But what she was doing in those moments was she was asking him to verbalize why he made this decision in his own words. Again, asking great questions. And so we get him to say why we did this today. The first thing she asked, do you feel good about this? Right? And people aren't going to remember everything that you teach them. They're not going to remember everything that you do with them that day, but they are going to remember how you made them feel. And if you ask them that at the very end, how does this make you feel? And they say, oh my gosh, I think God sent you here. I feel amazing, right? That's going to solidify that sale so much. You don't get referrals you don't ask for. So let's just start there, right, Craven?
Definitely.
You don't get phone numbers you don't ask for either. That's why you don't get any. But the reason that you are going to get referrals is you're going to ask for them. And a lot of people don't get them because they just don't simply ask. But what I love that she did was she didn't just get the referral, she made him set the appointment. And man, is that asking some of y'all to get out of your comfort zone in these houses. To have a little bit more assertiveness of not just, hey, who do you know? And then, oh, you don't know anybody, that's okay. But, oh, you know somebody? You know what? Go ahead and get them on the phone and see if I can go see them right now. I actually have a few minutes before my next appointment that I can go drop this off to them as well. That is what's going to cause you to just spider web your sales, is by asking, and then ask them to do a little bit of work for you in that spot. Man, anything to add in that?
Yeah, I loved it. She didn't even acknowledge his diaper or anything. And guys, the best way to close out that application is finishing off with a nice selfie with your client always.
That's right.
And give it up for Laura, Muse.
Give it up for these two, please.
And Wilbur.
Let's take a picture. You can take the picture.
Thank you guys so much. This has been...